David Gergen, we got questions via Facebook from Bob Thornton. He's a guy from New Jersey who is now living in Florida, which is a rarity. His first question is, with or because of his resume, why isn't Jon Huntsman getting a serious look by Republicans?
Bob, that's a really good question. I wondered that myself. I've known his dad for, I don't know, maybe 40 years. Terrific family. I got to meet John Jr. Here in recent months, sat down with him, talked for an hour. I thought he might make a very good candidate. I think he's had a hard time making a transition from being the ambassador to Japan, coming back into the middle of this boiling cauldron we call American politics. And I think he had a hard time finding his voice. I don't think it's the last we'll see him in public life, but he's clearly had real trouble with this campaign.
All right, second question. What could Obama, Boehner, and Reid do to get super committee agreement on a $4 trillion plan?
I think what's really needed here is for Obama, Reid, McConnell, Boehner, Pelosi to agree upon a plan themselves. And if they could do that and send it to the super committee and say, this is the outline of what we can agree on, see if you guys can reach an agreement, that would help an awful lot. You know, I think that's what leadership is about. When you're elected to positions of leadership, you have to lead.
All right, third question. Which president does Obama closest compare to at this point in his presidency?
Well, that's a hard question. Look, I don't think he's Jimmy Carter. People like to say I think he's been more effective, say, with Carter on international policy. You know, Carter's helicopters went down in the desert, and Obama's helicopters got bin Laden. So it's hard to make that comparison. I think, frankly, what he's best at is campaigning. He's better at campaigning than governing, and he may turn into something of a Harry Truman out on the stump. You know, Truman had huge come from behind. Obama doesn't have a big come from behind problem, but he's got to catch fire again with the country, which is what Truman did.
Okay, and question 4. What are the pros, pitfalls of switching Biden and Clinton roles in 2012 if it weren't perceived as a panic move, which I guess it would be?
I think that the idea of switching Secretary of State Clinton to make her vice president, making Joe Biden the Secretary of State, is intriguing. I find when I talk to voters, they think if Hillary came in, it would energize the Democratic ticket. It would really, it would cause a huge stir and be lots and lots of interest in it. And Joe Biden has all the credentials to be a very good Secretary of State. Having said that, I don't think either one, especially Hillary Clinton, is very interested. If Hillary Clinton's going to come back into public life, I think she probably wants to get a rest, recharge her batteries, spend a little time with family, and then come back. Okay,
and the fifth question, this is about you. It says, Gergen seems level-headed, on the ball. Has he ever run for office? If no, why not? And would he consider?
Well, you're kind to ask. I will spare you the agony of having me in public office or even a race. I have run for things in a long distant history, but I think my better role is doing what I'm doing. I once thought about going back to North Carolina. I'm from that state, and running, but because I've worked on both sides of the aisle in particular, I think that each party would have a hard time with that. I wouldn't have a natural base. I hope I can be constructive here on the sidelines and trying to encourage not just the candidates, but trying to encourage citizens like you to take an active role in politics and really help us build a better country.
I said 5 questions, but I lied. There was a bonus question, and Bob says, would he party with Clooney again?
Bob Thornton, let me just tell you something. I would do it in a heartbeat. He was a lot of fun. He's a serious guy. He's really deeply interested in this South Sudan, preserving the people there against the atrocities coming from the north. He's also moving toward being more and more of a director. He's just passed his 50th birthday, and he's thinking about what the next 20, 25 years will bring. And but he's also just a huge amount of fun. I really enjoyed it. We swapped a lot of stories. We laughed a lot. We drank too much. I had a huge headache. Worst headache I've had in years. But it was loads of fun.
David Gergen, thank you for being kind enough to take our OutFront 5 fast questions, and have a great segment with
Okay, and thank you to Bob Thornton.